Hey everybody, welcome to my first video. My name is Nick Trod. I'm an industrial designer based here in the UK, and in today's video I'm going to go through 5 pieces of software I use as a freelance industrial designer. Software number 1. So of course, as designers, our main goal is to design and get a product into manufacture. So to do that, we of course need 3D modeling software. Now there's lots of different types of 3D modeling software. I'd say the king of 3D modeling software for industrial designers would probably be SolidWorks, but as a freelancer, we are very aware of our budget and we have to keep costs low, so I've opted with software called Fusion 360. Now Fusion 360 kind of fills all my needs as a designer. It has great 3D modeling capabilities, it allows me to render products and make them look photorealistic, and I can create kind of assembly videos to show how a product will go together, and of course I can explore color, material and finishes of that product. Now this all comes in a very neat and tidy kind of low cost package if you were to compare it to other 3D modeling software. So I'm going to briefly go over the user interface for Fusion 360. So as you can see here, this is our main design workspace. And this here is a pair of 10-in-1 cooking utensils for camping. And this was a project that I worked on a few years ago. And this was just one of the first early models. Now we have our kind of solid modeling workspace. We have our surface modeling workspace on mesh, sheet metal, plastic and utilities. Now as you can see here, for the plastic workspace, there is the kind of like a plug symbol above some of the features, and that's just because it's locked behind another extension. But they are great when you get into the fine details of designing for manufacture, so towards the later stages of the project. And then here we can go on to our render workspace, and then here we have huge variety of different materials here. Iron, silver, we can do plastics, paints, we can go, if we wanted to, so we look at paint, we could go enamel finish, we could do rough powder coats, and all it takes is just to install it, and then you can just apply that to your model. So next on our list of industrial design software that I use is of course Photoshop. So Photoshop can be used for hundreds of different reasons, but as a designer, because I do most of my renders on Fusion 360, and the quality of those renders aren't quite as good as Keyshot, let's say, I use Photoshop to kind of enhance the images and do a lot of post-processing on those renders. I can also use Photoshop for sketching and ideation and kind of concept design. Usually I do most of my concept design on paper at the early stage, but then I might go into digital sketching just because it gets to a point where it's a bit more efficient and time effective. Next would be creating images for your presentations for clients. This might just be kind of combining a few images, or again just kind of post-processing, maybe adding some shadows, and maybe if you're doing a variety of colors on a product, it's much easier to edit and change the color of a couple renders in Photoshop, and then you can present like 30 different colors rather than it is to render 30 different images in Fusion 360, for example. And next might be if you wanted to add some kind of details to your renders, maybe you want to create some quick graphics and then you can add the decals on Fusion 360 or even add them on Photoshop themselves. And then next would be kind of course creating content to market yourself as a freelancer. And this could be like YouTube like this, it could be Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, you can create content for that channel using Photoshop. So just having a quick look at the Photoshop interface. Of course, if you're going to use Photoshop for sketching, you can use whatever. You don't need to use digital tools for sketching in design. As I said, I primarily use pen and paper for most of my design. But if you've got an iPad, or if you've got Surface, or you've got a pen tablet, It's all you need, and then you can use Photoshop for sketching, rendering, whatever you want to use. And here, just a quick look, you can see kind of my main brushes, and then you can use it as your drawing canvas. So the next design tool I use is called Miro. So when you look at a design consultancy, you always see paper all over the wall, post-it notes everywhere, different designs, research. But as a freelance industrial designer, I don't really have the space because I work from home. Or if I'm not working from home, I might be working in a co-working space. So what Miro allows me to do is to kind of replicate that part of the design process, but digitally. Here, for example, I have been going over potential mechanisms I can use for a design. And I was looking at products that I like. I've been taking notes in my notebook, and then here, bayonet lock design. I've got the snap fit, I've got screws, push locking, lever mechanisms, some original designs I was coming up with. I had to go forward with designs 5 and 6. And then from that point, I would probably then take those designs into Fusion 360, and then I might either 3D print them or try and replicate those mechanisms in another way, just so I can prove them and then add them to the overall design. So that's the end of the kind of creative design tools that I use. And now the second part is more the project management tools that I use to help things run smoothly, to get new clients, and to kind of manage the business. The first project management tool I use is called Trello, and it's a Kanban style project management tool. You've probably seen lots of similar software like this. There's Trello, there's Asana, there's Monday.com, Slack, there's Notion. They're all really good. I just happen to use Trello. Now I use it to kind of break down my larger projects into small manageable chunks which can be tracked, and then I can add notes. So here, for example, you can see all of the blog ideas that I have here, and then you can see the next blog that I'm going to write, and then here you can see the blogs that I've written, and essentially these just go through the board as the project's going on. And then once that's done, I can be blog posted, and then I can add in the next video here, and then that will be the next piece of content that I'm going to work on. Furthermore, you can add in kind of your main templates for your business, like so creating a statement of work, creating contracts, templates for mood boards, templates for sketching. All of this stuff you can add all in Trello. The next tool that I use is of course the Google Suite. Now I pay for the Google Suite, but you don't have to. But paying for it allows me to kind of have extra cloud storage. I get my company email address, my company domain name, and of course you can use Google Slides, Google Documents, arrange meetings in Google Meet. I have all of my client contact through Google Mail. All of my company work and client work is also put in the drive, as well as linked through Trello. I have my calendar to kind of make plans of when things will be due as well, and that again will be linked with my Trello. And then of course finally you have your Google Sheets where you manage all of your outgoings for your business, as well as look into tax and get your tax returns and all that sorted out. So I hope you've enjoyed my first video on the 5 pieces of software that I use as a freelance industrial designer. If you've enjoyed the content, please feel free to put a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you liked, tell me what you didn't like. This is my first video, and I've got big plans for the future, and I hope you come along on this journey with me.